go when they die.
You're the most cold-blooded man I've ever seen.
How can you have any meat if you don't eat your pudding?
The Tommy Boyds Show.
Back and to the left. Yeah.
The show with more endurance than radiation itself.
You say either, and I say either.
Apparently official. Stand by, please.
Tommy Boyds.
Apparently official.
Have you no compassion?
Stand by, please.
Let's rehang the pictures in the gallery of life.
How are you? Now, I've got a busy show, so I'll crack on. I was sat this morning on the piano stool, which is what we've got in front of our PC at home. We've just got the one PC, and I needed to get on it because I'm starting to come up to speed with all this new technology. Wanted to see if I'd got any emails. Won't detain you with what happened there, but the deal in our house is that as long as the boys get ready for school without being told again and again and again, hurry up, get your shoes on, they're allowed to play a computer game from the time they've got ready until the time they've got to go. And I wanted to get on the machine, but they were playing a Football Manager game. So I had to sit there and pretend I was interested and amused and stimulated and impressed as they clicked away on the keyboard and fiddled around with the joystick as these footballers ran in and out of each other. And, they bought the Burr they got him for $6 million, and I had to go, that's fantastic, and so on and so forth. It was mind-numbing, to be honest, but we do indulge our children like that, don't we? We do. And I'm sure our parents indulged us, didn't they? Indulged us when we came in to tell them that we had been out and about having genuinely exciting games, because we did, didn't we? Because we didn't sit at a screen, because there wasn't a screen. We decided a screen if there was a screen when we were little, but there wasn't one. So what we did was we went out and we did things, and we had real adventures. We actually played football instead of watching it on an electronic screen. And we actually, had fights and things, didn't we? And we had adventures in the woods instead of just reading about it in books or watching a TV program about it or playing a computer game about it. I remember what we used to do. It used to be really exciting in Hounslow, where I was little, if the Gypsies arrived and set up camp on the heath. It used to be ever so exciting when I was sort of 8, 9 and 10, because we used to hear all the adults going on about it, about how you'd have to lock the shed up at night and mustn't go out and leave the fanlight open in the day. And if anybody knocked on the door and we weren't expecting anybody in the evening, we'd hide, because it would probably be a full-size woman with a snotty child trying to either tell our fortune or sell us some clothes pegs or offer to drown any spare kittens for us and things. You'd hear conversations like this. And so as boys, we used to sneak through what we called the woods, even though it was only about 8 trees at the end of our road. And we used to look down on what we thought was a heath, although it was only sort of, like a bit of grass verge by a dual carriageway. And we used to think we were up high on a mountain looking down on a valley of gypsies, although it was only an incline of about 20 feet. And that was a real adventure. That's what I'm saying. Children don't have adventures anymore. In October, if the Gypsies arrived on the heath in October, we used to get these reeds, which were hollow reeds that you could pick on the banks of the River Longford, and we used to put bangers or sparklers into, mostly bangers if we could afford them. And we used to light the banger and hurl it as if it was an exploding mortar in the general direction of the gypsy camp, and then go running home, knowing that if we got caught and told off, our parents would approve, because our parents used to mutter darkly about the gypsies. You don't see gypsies these days. They don't visit, do they? You don't get a gypsy caravan coming in and pitching up camp in a field or a meadow near your home, and then rumours going round about there being another encampment on the way, and they're probably going to do some horse racing bareback. And, lock up your daughters and things. You don't get it anymore. You don't see them, which is a damn good job, isn't it? Let's be honest. We like to be honest. You and me, we like to be honest. It's a damn good thing, isn't it? It's a damn good. Good. You don't get gypsies around anymore. Good. Marvellous. Isn't it? Fantastic, because they weren't up to much, were they? I don't know whether the rumours about them were true. And although it was an interesting diversion when I was a child, you know, they weren't up to an awful lot, were they? They would come round and knock on your door, and they'd be selling pegs and useless things and offering to sharpen knives, which was always a very dubious thing to offer to do, wasn't it? Or they would offer to drown your kittens. They'd do anything for you, wouldn't they, for a sixpence? And if you didn't let them do something for a sixpence, then they'd put a curse on you. And their mysterious skills, such as riding horses bareback and cooking their food on an open fire. And where did they go to the loo? Because they didn't have loos in those caravans. And you worried. And you worried, especially if your cat didn't come in at night. You don't get gypsies around anymore, do you? And that's a darn good thing, isn't it? Because things did go missing. And whether it was them or not, and I'm not pointing the finger here, that would be racist or somethingist. We've probably been ist about 3 times already. But at least we're being honest. If things did go missing, it was a big worry because you'd always assume your parents would say, well, it'll be all right. I've heard they're going on. They're moving. They're going to leave town at the weekend. Free call 0500 1053 89. So what's become of them all? Have they been integrated? Have they joined the rest of us, ordinary, chinless, middle-class folk in Britain? David Essex, I'm told, comes from a gypsy family. But you'd guess, wouldn't you? To be honest, you'd guess. Is that ist? I don't think so. It's a fact. But if David Essex is, you know, he's Engelbert Humperdinck. John Ketley, the weatherman, you can see him with a ring in his ear, can't you? And that fat girl who does You've Been Framed. I don't think so. But she could be. And Gary Lineker. I've always thought that a lot of footballers look as though they come from gypsy stock. Gary Lineker, you can see, can't you? With a neckerchief. And a dog on a piece of string. And a stone for sharpening your knife. Free call 0500 1053 89. Have you got any gypsy encampments around you at the moment? Have they just arrived where you are? The number again is free call 0500 1053 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. That's a good argument for listening.
Hey! Some telephone conversations may be recorded or monitored for training purposes.
Talk Radio. Tommy Boyd.
It's time to poison the waterhole.
Cutting edge.
Tommy Boyd.
Sucks less.
You know, I don't want to bring this up, but you've been treating a lot of people with a lot of disrespect.
Pam's our first caller in this part of the programme, calling from Leicester. Good afternoon, Pam. You're on Talk Radio.
Hello.
Hello.
What's wrong with gypsies?
Well, I've just spent 5 minutes explaining, haven't I? You want me to go over it all again?
Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't feel like repeating myself.
Oh, okay. Well, what's wrong with them? In a nutshell.
Well, you want me to repeat myself twice now, don't
you?
In a nutshell.
Yes, yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
They make respectable people feel uncomfortable.
Why? How?
Well, they do. Don't say, you know, how. You know, they do. They just do. They make you feel uncomfortable.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think so.
This is a feeble attempt at being politically correct, Pam, and you're really screwing it up. You've got nothing to say. You've got no argument. You recognise something in yourself, but you thought, well, I've been reading The Guardian lately. I better do my bit.
Oh, no. I gave up The Guardian a long time ago, actually.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Okay, well, try being interesting then.
Guy.
Hopeless business. No, I mean, you know, we're glad that you don't get gypsies visiting the town anymore. But where are they? Have they fled? Are they all in Dover, trying to catch a ferry? Erin calls from Gloucestershire. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Erin.
Oh, hi, Tommy.
Hello.
Hello. I was just going to say that there are some gypsies around where I live.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no, it's all right. They're quite nice, actually. I'm not sure whereabouts they live, but it's just around our town. I live just outside the town. And, you know, they get out of the way for the cars on the road, and they wave to us sometimes.
What happened if they didn't get out of the way for the cars in the road?
I don't know. But they always give way. They always do.
Yeah.
And it's better than some drivers, actually.
What do they do? How do they make their money?
I don't know.
Aha.
I honestly don't know.
Well,
I don't know
you see,
them.
they make adults uncomfortable, and there's enough in life to make you uncomfortable, isn't there?
Mm.
You know, I mean, death stalks our every breath. You don't need something else on top of that, do you?
No.
No.
But Tommy, I'd like to tell you about these kind of strange, weird people who think they're modern gypsies.
Modern gypsies?
Yeah. And they go around and they have cars towing their little ornate trailers, kind of like covered wagons, only the gypsy version. You know what they look like.
Yeah.
And they have little flowers stenciled all over them.
Yeah.
And they go around and they actually take the horses behind them, but they drive cars. And every summer and autumn, I think, they come up to the hill that's facing us and they go in the field there. They stay there.
Erin, I've never seen these people.
Well, I don't know. They seem to want to be gypsies.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, I don't know about such folk. I wonder whether people who take caravan holidays or even go on camping holidays like to think of themselves as the sons and daughters of the road. Free spirits for 2 weeks out of the year, traversing the highways and sleeping wherever they are when night softly falls. Nah. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We haven't even got it in our hearts to worry about you. No, it's the gypsies that we used to worry about because they were around, and now we kind of worry about them because they're not around. Paul calls from Northampton. Paul, you're on Talk Radio.
Hi, Tom. Tom, I totally agree with you. They're an absolute nuisance. I can't stand them.
Oh, have they arrived?
They've arrived where I am, just like that lady you were speaking to just now.
Oh, yeah?
Unlike her, well, I've got them coming out around my town, but they are completely the opposite to what she said. These people are just bad news. These people are, well, to put it mildly, SCUM. They are bad news. They're bad drivers. I don't know where they get the money from. They've got it from somewhere. They're driving in cars better than me, and I'm a working man.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got these four-wheel drive cars. They've got these caravans. They've got horses.
Yeah.
They've got kids who are just out of control.
Yeah.
They park them on the side of the dual carriageway, right? When they don't see a space, they're on it.
Yeah.
And then what they do, one morning I was driving into work, right, where these jippos were, and they'd been lobbing bricks onto the dual carriageway.
Can you say jippos on the radio?
Well, I just did.
Fair point.
Fair point. And, they really get me going, these people. And I'm sure there's some nice ones. They're good and bad in people everywhere. I agree with that. But, I mean, this ain't just sort of a one-off occasion. I mean, I went bowling with my girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. We took a day off work. We said, right, we'll spend the day together. So we went bowling. We got in there about midday, and I went up to the bar to get a beer. And there was a crowd of people in the corner. So I went up to the bloke behind the bar, and he said to me, he said, they've been in here since opening time. He said, and they was in here yesterday. He said, these are jippos that are down the road. There must have been a good 20 or 30 of them. And they were spending money over the bar like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
I mean, where do these people get the dosh from? Because they don't seem to do any work.
That's what we want to know, because you don't get carnivals anymore, do you?
No, you don't, no.
So they can't practice the old gypsy art of leaping from dodgem to dodgem and taking 50 pence off you. They can't practice that.
No, can't do that, no.
They can't claim the welly because they have no fixed.
That's
Isn't
right.
that right these days? I believe.
That's right.
So,
Well, I think they still do, but...
How can they afford to buy their round?
Exactly. How do they do it? And there must have been a good 20 or 30 in there, Tom. And they said to me, and the blind bloke said to me, they were in there the day before yesterday, the same crowd. He said they were in there from 11 in the morning till 9 o'clock that night.
Yeah,
just boozing it up. Aside from that, though, as I say, they're just like, and they've got these horses tied up, and you can see that some of these horses are not even fed properly. They look pretty malnourished to me. I mean, I'm not a veterinarian, but I mean, I know a horse when it doesn't look right.
Yes, dear.
As I say, the kids are running around the place, and they're throwing the rubbish all over the place. Like, they're not putting it away tidy. And they really get me going.
And there's so much romantic claptrap talked about gypsies as well.
No way, man.
The idea that they're all great horsemen.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I doubt it. It's probably just all myth. It's just passed along, but...
And they can tell fortunes.
Oh, yeah. Like, I can, I've seen a flying pig. Like, of course they can't. It's all a load of nonsense.
Well, thank you for your call. Pete's next. He calls from Manchester. Pete, you're on Talk Radio.
Hi, Tommy.
Pete.
Love you. I've just been told to say love you, love your show and all that, but okay, goes without saying. Listen, lorry drivers. I'm a long-distance lorry driver.
Yeah.
Natural enemies. They plague us at night. They're coming round, knocking on your cab door. Can I buy a couple of gallons of diesel off you?
Do they do that?
Oh, Tommy, it doesn't matter where you are. It's always the same story.
But is that a scam then, or are they just have they run out?
No, what they do is they don't like. They don't. I don't really suppose. I don't know an awful lot about them, so I don't like being too derogatory. But they don't have to wind me up.
No, go ahead, be derogatory.
Story.
I think I can see the scam here. Yeah. The idea is that you could open the filler cap on your lorry, flog them a couple of gallons of diesel, right? Yeah. Your boss wouldn't notice because it would be natural shrinkage. Yes. Right? Yeah. So you could pocket the dough and they get a couple of gallons of diesel at less than cost.
Yeah, but it doesn't work like that. I'll tell you what, I've only ever done it once and I got the biggest shock of my life.
Which was?
Right. Well, because it became, it's always the same story, and sometimes you think to yourself, because we have to park all over the country, or you're in, you usually park on industrial estates. That's where gypsies live these days, on bits of industrial estates that haven't quite been fully developed, right? And they're always hanging around these places, and lorries tend to park up overnight in these places. And I always remember they said, my mate's van's run out of petrol just down the road. Can we buy a couple of gallons of diesel for you? And I thought, oh, God. I tell you what, yeah. And I thought, he'll go away then. He'll leave me alone. I can go to sleep tonight without wondering whether they're going to come back when I'm asleep and take the lot, right? So I said, oh, all right. He said, well, I only want a couple of gallons. He said, I'll give you a couple of quid. So I thought, okay. This is ages ago, So I gave him a couple of quid. And he produced this, industrial suction pump out the back of his van. And with one enormous suck, about 5 gallons came out. And then he did it again. I'm not joking. They're like, what? 10 gallons of juice. And I thought, oh, my God. Yeah. So now I don't, but I tell you what, they really do plague wagons parked up at night, and it's always the same story. My van's down the road, and my mate's run out of petrol, and waste of time.
Can I ask you, because I've often seen you parked up in lay-bys and that, you guys. I mean, is it nice and romantic and cosy in your cab at night? No?
It depends where you are. I mean, I deliberately try to park out of towns because it's, you get problems sometimes. You're worried about people slashing the curtains on the side of the trailers and going in, and we all lose things once in a while. So you tend to park away where it's not nice. I work a lot around the north of Scotland and that, and very often I do park in really beautiful places, like down the sides of the Loch Ness and places like that. You're parked up at night, you've got oil-fired central heating, you've got your telly, you've got your kettle on, and that is nice. And it's a little home from home, but there are other times when you are so fed up at the job that you have to live in it and work in it. And,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you're up there, then driving along past Loch Ness, have you ever seen Nicholas Witchell?
I've only heard rumours of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe in him either. That's something I can never connect with. Nicholas Witchell, when he was a very small young anorak, was an ever-present on the banks of Loch Ness. You know, the red-headed newsreader? He wrote a book about it and everything. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We found ourselves talking about gypsies, or gyppos, as a previous caller called them. You don't see them around anymore. Well, not where I am. Thank the Lord, really. Because for two things, really. One, because they made you feel very nervous about your possessions. But shall I tell you the real reason? Gypsies made me feel insecure. Because they made me realise how damn middle class and centrally heated my life is. That's why you don't like them either, isn't it? Because they make you realise that you're boring compared to a gyppo. Who wouldn't rather be a gyppo? I would. I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. I'd milk it for all it's worth. I would bathe my face in cold tea in order to get that lovely burnished look. And I've got curls. If you have a perm for a couple of years, your hair stays curly. Did you know? So I could just about get away with it. Well, you don't see many blonde gyppos. Simon calls from Hampshire.
Tommy, yes, I love you and I love your show, but you're talking absolute rot.
What?
I can't believe you're saying this. There's nothing particularly wrong with gypsies. They've never caused anyone any harm at all, really. They don't sponge off of our benefits. They don't have to pay we don't have to pay them any benefits or anything like normal unemployed people.
Oh, come on, you Red Edith Blyton. They'll steal your children. Never mind about your cat.
Look, you're so wrong. They don't cause any harm. All this that they're thieves and that they're scum is all just a myth. It's all just stereotypes.
What about the Cher song, then?
I beg your pardon?
Gypsies, tramps and thieves.
Yes, exactly. That's just the sort of thing I'm talking about. You're just listening to common public opinion, and it's just been formed and that gypsies are scum, and they're not really. There's nothing particularly bad. I've known gypsies, I've spoken to them before, and they're just normal people going about their everyday lives, causing no harm to anyone. They don't steal, they don't thieve. I don't believe that you've had any recent experience of gypsies, have you?
Where in Hampshire, Simon, are you able to find yourself rubbing shoulders with a gypsy?
Right here, right now, because in the wreck just opposite my flat, we've got gypsies right now, and I don't care.
I'll bet it's a wreck now.
No, it's a recreation ground. Don't try and play these ridiculous word games with me.
Yeah.
It won't wash.
Old bull tires.
No, not at all.
Rusting cars.
Granted, they do leave a bit of a mess, but they clear up mostly when they leave.
Campfires with funny smells.
No. There's nothing wrong with the odd campfire. There's plenty of bonfires around here containing much worse noxious fumes than the gypsies.
Old gangly people with serious dental problems.
Yep, and they're not, they're not taken off the NHS. We're not having to treat their dental problems, are we? That's great. That's saving us money.
Could you see yourself as a gypsy, Simon?
I beg your pardon?
Could you see yourself as a gypsy?
Oh, God, no.
Why?
Because I could never live like that, but that's just a personal thing.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm happy living how I am, but if they're happy living how they are, then all credit to them. You know, they're a benefit to us, to me, to you, and they don't cause any problems. They don't steal things. That is absolute rubbish. Where did you get that idea from?
Well, all I can pass on, Simon, is the evidence of my own ears. Because when I was a boy, the gypsies would arrive at least once a year, and they'd be over on the back of the estate for about 3 weeks, and everybody was nervous. Everybody was nervous.
Yes, everybody's nervous now. All the people around here are nervous of them. And I look out and I see the kids come over from school, chucking sticks at them and everything. And I think, what are they playing at? The gypsies haven't done anything around here where I live to harm me. They haven't stolen from me. They haven't stolen from anybody around here. And when you were a boy, Tommy, no offence, but it was a long time ago. Things have changed.
You know, Simon, and you won't hear me say this very often, but I think you've got a point.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Well, I mean, this isn't one of our carefully rehearsed news and current affairs discussions. This kind of came out whilst I was starting the show. We ended up talking about gypsies. And I must admit, my first instinct was that it's good not to have them around. But, listening to you, I miss them.
Yes, absolutely.
I miss them.
I mean, I wouldn't go so far to say that I miss them, but I certainly don't feel anything bad against them. I
do. It's boring where I am. It's boring and boring for my children. Nothing ever happens. The circus never comes to town.
Exactly.
Yeah. Simon, thank you.
That's okay.
Free call 0500 1053 89. Joanne calls from Mitcham. Joanne, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Joanne.
What planet is Simon on? Where is he from? He's not from Mitcham, I can tell you that much, because in Mitcham we have such a problem with gypsies. The council are spending thousands of pounds digging large trenches round our commons to stop them getting on there. They illegally fly tip. I can't even walk my dog across it. It's been so bad.
Well, I bet they don't make as much mess as your dog.
Yes, well, that's my second point, because they use it as a lavatory as well.
Well, so does your dog. What do you take your dog on the common for, if not to do a poo?
I tell you what, my dog does not do as many poos as they did during the 2 weeks they were on the common at Mitcham.
What a grotesque
They take over the pubs. They've got filthy language. Their kids are uncontrollable.
Yeah, you can say the same about Conservative ministers.
Yeah, I could actually.
Yeah, exactly.
The rubbish they leave behind, they have no respect.
We all leave rubbish behind. Everybody litters.
Tommy, you should have seen Mitcham Common. I felt like crying when I saw it. They're driving around in spanking brand new cars. Where do they get the money from?
You're only jealous.
Oh.
Aren't you?
Where do they get the money from?
And where would you be without somebody to moan about? Where would you be?
I tell you,
without the
everybody
idea?
in Mitcham is moaning about them.
I'll bet they are. And that's because all you lot in places like Mitcham, right, and there's plenty of places like Mitcham all around the country, you are all up to your ears in your smug, little, centrally heated, double-glazed, shag-piled lives.
Actually, I have got double glazed and central heating.
I'll bet you have too. And you are jealous. You are jealous.
Oh, honestly, though, seriously, Tommy, they are a big problem.
I'm being serious. They're
Pat
free.
is on a different... Your first caller, she's on another planet as well, and Simon is... He's on one as well. Because
they're free. They are renegades.
A pain in the neck.
They are running free and wild, and you're not. You're a prisoner. A prisoner of your own middle-class pretensions.
They are terrible, and if you ask anyone in Mitcham, they would agree with me.
Oh, right. You think we need to go and check with Mitcham before we form our opinions,
I think everyone from Mitcham ought to phone in. And as for not costing us money... See our council tax next year when we have to pay for the amount of money it's going to cost to clear that common, and 6 weeks later it's still got rubbish on it from them.
All right, alert, gypsy alert. All gypsies,
gypsy alert,
all
definitely.
gypsies listening to
Stop
this programme.
Before they get on there.
Get down to Mitcham
Once
pronto.
they're on there, they're a nightmare.
Get down and fill up Mitcham Common. So that Joanne can't take her dog to do its filthy business.
No, I pick my dogs up, thank you. I don't leave any mess when I take my dog for a walk.
Joanne in Mitcham, free call 0500 10 53 89. Here is Estelle calling from Maidenhead. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Estelle.
Hi, Tony. Yeah, I've got 3 brief points to make, and I'll keep them brief. Can you hear me?
You've already been rather long-winded, Patel.
Right. I used to work for the old DHSS, and I was based in Liverpool. I was a visiting officer. And I had to go and visit a gypsy encampment that was camped on a demolished area. And if you'd seen the caravans then, full of porcelain, china, beautiful ornaments, you name it. But what was quite amusing, one evening I'd gone for a drink with some colleagues from the office, and the family that had visited that same day was in the pub. And if you'd seen the roll of notes that this guy pulled out at the bar, he saw me, dropped his pint, and ran out. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay awake.
I've seen them in such beautiful shops buying beautiful things, and I didn't know where they got the money from. And I live in Maidenhead now.
I'll bet you do.
Sorry? Don't be rude.
I said I'll bet you do.
There are 2 places in Maidenhead. One is Pinckney's Green, which is a beautiful big field, and the gypsies have been cleared out of there for the last 2 years now. They moved from Pinckney's Green to a big meadow, which is off the...
Estelle, can I ask you a question?
I don't like them.
What's the point of you?
You're going to be rude now, aren't you?
I just asked you a question. What's the point of you?
What's the point of me?
Yeah. What good are you?
Qualify that. What's the good of you?
Yeah, what's the good of me?
Yeah.
And I asked you the question first. I'll answer it when you better go.
Yeah, but I don't understand the question.
No, exactly. Of course you don't. You've never given it a moment's thought, have you?
Oh, you're just being rude.
No, I'm not. I'm getting at your life.
My life?
Yeah, your life.
My life,
Your appalling life, woman.
It's quite ordinary.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. Your vacuum-sealed life.
No, it's not a vacuum-sealed...
Your completely irrelevant, useless existence, which has attracted nothing more or less than a bunch of tepid, shallow prejudices. That's you. And period.
Well, I've dealt with them. So I know...
We're talking about you now. We're talking about you now. Gypsies are free. Gypsies are people who have chosen what to do. Gypsies are people who live by their wits.
All right, where do
they
they
live
get
and they
their
love...
Money?
What?
Where do they get their money from?
Where do they get their money from?
And how do they obtain it?
Where do you get your money from?
From a missing husband.
Right. So you got some poor bloke on the end of a piece of string, have you?
No, I haven't. No. No, because my husband disappeared.
I'll bet he has.
You are one nasty, horrible, man. And you don't deserve to be on talk radio. Not when you could upset somebody that's
When you slam the phone down, when you and have a little,
slam the phone down.
have a little think about decrying other people, and have a little wonder about casting stones and glass houses.
Well, I think you ought to think about that more than me.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done.
Yeah.
And now you've got me all upset. Thank you very much indeed.
Not at all. Not at all. Not
Pig.
at all. Away you go. Take your project. Exactly. 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 All in a day's work. Mark calls from Derby. Mark, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Oh, yeah, Tommy, a little bit below the bell that was. I've dealt with them. I've cleaned up after them on council gangs. And
Well, who cleans up after you?
No, Tommy, listen, let me have my say and then you can come back to me.
No, answer me the question. Who cleans up after you?
Well, I clean up after myself.
Do you?
Yeah, of course I do.
Oh, what do you do with your waste products then? Your bodily waste products? Who cleans up that?
Look, well, let's put it this way. If I went camping, I wouldn't expect to go to the toilet in a field and just to leave it where it is. Right? I've been there. I found hypodermic syringes, nappies. It's just an absolute disgrace. I've been there and cleaned up these things.
I'm really starting to warm to the world's gypsies, you know? Listening to all this middle class.
Tommy, I can't believe what you're saying. They just go and crouch in a field. If you can imagine going to the site where 40 or 50 caravans have been and having to go and clean that mess up, can you understand what it must feel like to have to go and pick this stuff up with your hands?
What happens to your mess?
What do you think? What happens to yours? It goes down the toilet.
I'm asking you a question, and because I know you don't know the answer.
It goes. Well, all right.
It ends up underneath the nose of some. It ends up underneath the nose of some poor bather somewhere.
It goes down the toilet to the sewerage where we pay our taxes for it to be cleaned.
Oh, we pay our taxes. Do you? How old are you?
27.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. You're dead already, aren't you, eh? Aren't you?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm surprised I'm not with all the disease that's in the crap that they leave.
What's the most exciting, debonair, adventurous thing you've ever done? Go on. What's the closest you've got to nature?
Being there when my wife gave birth to my boy, I suppose.
What's the most free thing you've ever done?
What have I just said?
No, it's a different question.
The most free thing, let's put it this way, Tommy, it's not going and crapping in a field.
No, what is it, though? Go on, what?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, you ever skinny dipped? I bet if you have skinny dipped, it was in a chlorinated pool.
No, I'm not well enough in... If I was more well endowed, then I would have done, but...
Have you ever stayed up all night and just looked at the stars?
Not up all night, no.
What's the point of you, then?
I've capped off school, which were quite exhilarating.
Is that it then? So you haven't done anything?
That's right,
You haven't done it? Oh, what was that then? What did you do? What did you do? What did you do in your day when you capped off school? What did you do?
You know, we hung around a den and we I don't know.
You
we
hung
there
around,
and had a fag.
You had a fag, and where did you go to the toilet?
We didn't go, at that time, probably we peed in a bush or something like that. I see your point to a certain extent,
You're
Tommy.
dying,
But
you're
listen,
dead in the
Tommy,
water, your head's on a stick, man. You
Tommy,
should be more like the gypsies. Much more like the gypsies.
Tommy, listen, that is the sort of thing that little kids do when they don't know any better. These are people that are driving around, as a lot of your callers have said, in very expensive cars. And I'll tell you where they get the money from. You don't know, do you? They're thieves. They are just purely thieves. They do nothing else but thieve from people.
Thieves? They're thieves,
Tommy, don't take the mickey out of me. It's very good.
You're a thief. What do you do? What do you do?
Tommy, it's very good on the other side of the phone taking mickey out of somebody. It's very easy to do.
What do you do?
I run my own business.
What evil do you do, Mark? Come on, let's have it. What do you do?
What evil?
Yeah. What do you do? What evil do you do?
I'm sure there is something, but I can't think of it.
It's your job, mate. What do you do?
What do I do for a living?
Yeah. Let's hear how respectable that is, shall we?
What do you mean how respectable?
Well, come on, what do you do? Own my own business. What is it?
I run my own transport business.
Yeah, well, what is that then?
What do you mean, what is it?
Well, come on, explain.
It's taking from one company and taking it to another.
What?
Anything from a ton of liquids to human organs.
Why are you being so evasive?
I'm not being evasive at all.
Yeah, you are.
You're just not very specific with your questions.
What, like, what do you do for a living? What do you want?
No,
are some of the words too long?
What do you want me to say? I said I run a transport business. I collect things from one place and deliver it to another.
Yeah.
But I can't say specifically because it's a wide variety of things that we deliver.
And what dodges do you have?
What dodges?
Yes.
I'm quite an honest bloke, actually.
What dodges do you have?
What dodges do I have? I haven't got any. No dodges at all.
Do we believe him, everybody? Do we believe him? No.
Well, listen, Tommy.
Everyone's got dodges.
Tommy, no, hold on one second, because you're very good at this, and I love you because you wind everybody up. But the thing is, try going and collecting the awful things that these people leave. It's just, if you don't do it, you can't appreciate it. And this, just a plea to someone who's lived at the side of where this scum have been, please ring up and have a go at Tommy because he deserves it. It's awful, Tommy. It is absolutely awful.
Mark, I mean every word of this.
Go on.
Okay, I mean every word of what I'm saying. The colloquialism is get a life. But what I'm here to say to you is, don't leave it too late to do something worth doing.
Right,
to inhale.
Thanks a lot for that, Tom.
To inhale properly.
What do you mean inhale?
To think about the universe. To feel the wind in your face, caused perhaps by the momentum
Tommy,
of your own life.
You don't have to go and do things and do crap in fields and make work for other people, something that is so disgusting.
I'd love
to feel exhilarated.
When did you last do a poo in a field?
I haven't.
Well, you should.
Tommy,
you should.
Tommy, you can't wind me up that easy, I'm afraid.
No, I mean it, man.
I mean, I'm not going to talk... Listen.
I mean it. Go away. You're hopeless. You're hopeless. I mean it. There's nothing quite like it. The other day, we had some people round to stay, and we couldn't use our bathroom upstairs, and the only other bathroom was through their room. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, my wife needed to go to the loo, but she didn't want to wake them up. So she went in the bottom of the garden, and she said it was fantastic. It was a great feeling of liberation. And it is. And if that's the biggest condemnation we can come up with of our travelling folk, our neighbours, the gypsies, our inspiration, the gypsies, all I can say is, don't knock it unless you've tried it. There's an awful lot more things we should be doing in the great outdoors, besides number twos. Free call 0500 10 53 89. You don't see gypsies around these days, do you, like you used to? And that's a pity. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. Cuthbert? I wish I was a gypsy. If I was a gypsy, I'd make my caravan look really mucky, and then I would go and park it at the top end of a really posh estate. That's what I would do, and that's what you would do. I wish I was a gypsy. Pappy Jones calls. Pappy Jones calls from Swansea. Pappy, good day.
How are you doing, man?
You're a gypsy?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic.
And I'm proud of it.
Of course you are. We salute you.
Thank you.
Where are you living these days?
I'm living in Britton Ferry, on the big motorway.
Right.
And
in a house?
Pardon?
In a house?
No, I've lived in a house half of my life.
Yeah.
And I've also, I've lived in a caravan all my life, but I had to go in a house for a while because my parents went in one. And then I got married and I moved back out then into I married a gypsy again.
Marvellous, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
And you get around still, do you?
Oh, yeah, I still move about, but as it is now, I'm only waiting for a new site to be built for us.
Now, are you a thief?
Am I a thief? No, I'm not.
No, of course you're not.
No. I work hard for my living.
Of course you do.
And I don't take benefits off the government like that fella Mark was on about.
And are you dirty?
Pardon?
Are you grubby?
No.
No.
Why? When I come back from work, yes, but I quick wash and change.
Well, who isn't?
You know what I mean, like?
I'm filthy when I get home from a day's talking. No, seriously.
You know what I mean? It's like, how can I say, it's our way of life.
Yes.
You know?
Have you ever eaten cat?
Have I ever eaten? No, I've had a rabbit and a hedgehog.
That's all right, isn't it?
It's all right. Like, I don't care a lot. I like rabbit, but I don't care a lot for the hedgehog.
No.
Fair truth, it's,
Well, you baked it in clay, like they say in Enid Blyton.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fatty, like, innit?
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's fatty, you know, I didn't care a lot for it.
And when you're out and about being a proper paid-up gypsy, you know, a child of the road, do people look down their noses at you? Do they look at you with fear?
No, yeah, well, some does, but some just, like, they sort of got questions in their eyes.
Well, you see, what it is, Pappy, is they envy you because you're free.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I'm proud of what I am, like, and when people knocks us down, they can carry on, but as we get knocked down, we'll always get ourselves back up.
Of course you will.
You know what I mean? We always pick ourselves back up, like, you know? Like, people who's on about Gypsies got new vehicles, they got new caravans. Yeah, we have got them, but the reason why we work hard for what we do.
Of course you do.
You know? Like, somebody go and give 40 or 50,000 out for a house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that could cost, well, say caravans were 12, 14,000, whatever. But, like, how can I say, we work hard for what we do, you know what I mean?
Would you stay on the line and be an expert for me? If anybody... Would you stay on the line? If anybody wants to know how to become a gypsy, would you be prepared to give them advice on how to adopt a gypsy lifestyle?
No, well, to be honest, what can you say? Just move into a caravan and be nice to everybody, innit?
There, exactly. Look, let me bring in David, who's called the programme. David, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, David.
Yeah.
Calling from Birmingham.
No. Well, I'll take the call anyway.
Why not?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Yeah.
Is your name David?
Yeah, but I'm not from Birmingham.
Oh, well, never mind. What was your point?
Yeah, it's with regards to one of the callers you had, and it's a question of objective arguing. You see, if somebody decides not to take on your point of view, then that's fair enough. But if you are so decided on liking to the way of the Gypsies, then why don't you join them?
Well, that's why I've got Pappy Jones on the line. He's going to give me some advice. Pappy, could I be a gypsy?
Yeah, you could be a gypsy by all means, like, you know.
I've got the free spirit for it, haven't I?
Yeah, you have. You haven't got a wandering spirit. You got the free one.
I haven't got a middle-class mentality.
No, that's right, sir. You haven't.
I'm not a bureaucratic stumblebum like David on the other line.
No, well, I wouldn't say that because I've never met him.
You are.
I've never met the fella, so.
You are a bit of a boring old fart, aren't you, David? Really?
It's whatever label you want to put on it. I mean, that's just a label, isn't it? It's just designed by yourself. But
you are very boring. I mean, you're very dull, aren't you?
Well, in your opinion, I might be. I could say the same about you, but that doesn't make things right, does it? But even so, I mean, the lady who rang up, you didn't know her circumstances or whatever. You didn't have to insult her. It's not called for.
She was insulting other people. She didn't have to do that, did she?
You made personal reference to her husband that wasn't with her anymore, which was totally unwarranted.
No, it wasn't. It was completely warranted.
No, you upset the lady, and there's no need for it. Like I said to you before, if you can't argue objectively, either pro or whatever, then...
You weren't listening to the conversation. You're not very good at listening.
No, you're telling me now that I wasn't listening to.
No, you weren't listening.
Was you here listening to what I was listening to?
I don't know.
You weren't.
I don't know quite what you're talking about.
No, you just said to me I wasn't listening. You wasn't with me at the time. So
you weren't. No, I can tell you.
Tell me what I was listening to.
I can tell you weren't listening because you have got the wrong end of the stick.
Have I?
You have a poor appreciation of something which you have heard. Your listening skills, like your verbal skills, are not entirely adequate. You demonstrated that when you arrived at the radio. Your ability to communicate betrayed that fact. But I thought, because I'm a kind man, I'm a nice man, it's the gypsy in me, I'd let you have a go.
That is your opinion. You're a kind man and a nice man. If you take away your loudspeaker, which is the talk radio speaker, you haven't got anything. You're the same as everybody else. We can all vent our opinions on anybody we like to, rightly or wrongly. It doesn't make it right.
Yeah, these are a host of platitudes, David.
Not at all.
Yes, they are.
That's my opinion. I'm entitled to.
No, it's not. It's a rehash. It's a rehash. It's a rehash of a collection of cliches which you have gathered around you during your all too tepid existence.
Is that what you think?
That's what I said.
How long has my existence been going?
Well, long enough.
Sort of wise man. I mean,
what good are you?
Know all the answers to everything. Tell me that.
What good are you?
To who?
What good are you?
In a lot of ways, I'm quite good in some things and not in others.
What good are you to yourself?
As an existence in this life, then 100%. As anything else, nothing.
Did you choose your life, or was it chosen for you?
It's always chosen for you. You don't choose your own life.
Gypsies
If
do.
you're talking about,
Gypsies
talking about
do.
destiny, then that's something that we have no control over.
Listen for a while, David, and learn something. Gypsies do. They choose their lives.
That's right. Yeah, that's as may be, but...
No, it's not as maybe, pal. It's a fact. And you've learned something today, and I shan't invoice you for it.
Well, you may not. You can, as I always say, you can send the bill. But even so, if I choose to become a gypsy, then that's what I would do.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You've never chosen anything in your life. You're not a free man, David. You're a prisoner.
I'm as free as I want to be.
No, you're
so
not.
is everybody else.
No, you're not.
We choose to do what we want to do, and that is not our destiny.
No, but that's not what you just said. You said nobody's free.
No, I didn't say that at all. You said that.
No, you said that. You said nobody's free. You said everybody has their lives chosen for them, and I said not the
nobody
gypsies.
is free to choose their own destiny. It's this little twist on what I'm saying. You're very good at twisting other people's
Well,
words
you're not
around.
very good at making yourself known.
Well, obviously I'm doing that now. I'm speaking to the nation. So is that not making yourself known?
No, I'm having to make your points for you, and I'm having to make them interesting.
Are you really?
Yes.
No, they're interesting to who? To you or everybody else? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there would agree with a lot of what I've just said.
Well, anybody who's understood it might, but frankly, if they understood what you were trying to say, then they haven't got a lot going for them.
That's your opinion.
Is that the best you can do?
Well, how best do you want it?
Well, try making up some sentences all by yourself.
What, all on my own without, like, joined-up writing, you mean?
Yeah, the old joined-up writing one. Yeah, go on.
Right, OK, I'll start from the beginning again.
No, we haven't got time, actually.
Oh, right, then.
Time.
No, I've not wasted mine. I've just wasted yours.
That's true.
It's from whatever side of whatever your viewpoint is, isn't it? Whichever side you look at it from. I haven't wasted mine. I've quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, so have I.
Well, then it's not been a waste, has it? So why contradict yourself?
It's not been a waste. No, we've learned something about people like you, or at least we've had it reinforced.
No, what upsets me doesn't upset me. I'll rephrase that. What really annoys me is that somebody who has a position such as yourself...
Pappy, thanks ever so much for calling.
It's all right.
It was very nice to talk to you.
It's all right. I'd like to say hello to some of my friends around the world, mostly in Slately, where I'm from, like where I was original from.
Good boy.
Okay.
Thanks for your
Thank
call.
you very much. You keep up the good work about the gypsies.
You're a nice man, Pappy.
It's all right, no problem. It's nice to be polite, sir.
Exactly.
Do you know
Doesn't
what I
cost
mean?
anything, does it?
No, politeness never costs us nothing, you know what I mean? But it's always nice to be polite to people. To be rude to nobody, it don't pay.
Exactly. Pappy, thank you for your call.
It's all right.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. The friend of the gypsies, Tommy Boyd, on Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.